Tutancardmun, Colonel Toffington was regaling his friends with tales about his ancestors.
And that is how Christopher Columbus discovered America,
he said passionately. Fascinating, said Bottle. And who's this chap here?
Ah, that is my most infamous relative,
Toffington replied.
Squadron Leader Hubert Toffington, DFC. Ace pilot and archaeologist to boot.
I think I've heard of him, said Hamish. Didn't he discover the long-lost tomb of Tutancardmun?
Well, sort of,
Toffington admitted.
It all happened a very long time ago.
The year was 1922, and Squadron Leader Hubert Toffington was flying his plane over the deserts of Africa, searching for Tutancardmun's tomb.
Excellent progress,
Hubert exclaimed.
I have successfully crossed the river of certain dampness, and I am now over the Egyptian desert.
Just then, his plane started to make strange chugging noises.
Ah yes, it's possible that I'm a little short on fuel.
As he spoke, his plane began to drop beneath the clouds. And it landed with a crash. Fortunately, the squadron leader managed to escape safely, although his plane had seen better days.
Well, that'll buff out,
said Hubert optimistically.
More importantly, I appear to have landed somewhere of great interest. A tomb, if I'm not mistaken.
So saying, Hubert Toffington began to explore.
This is fascinating,
he remarked, as he wandered into a passage.
Nobody can have been here for thousands of years.
But no sooner had he finished his sentence than a sinister mummy began to approach, its bandaged arms outstretched.
Ah, good day,
said Hubert politely.
Have you had an accident of some sort?
The moaning mummy did not reply. Instead, it continued to move forward menacingly.
Cinders and ashes, there's 2 of you,
cried Hubert.
No, 3 of you, no, 4. I'm leaving, yes, bravely.
The squadron leader dashed into another chamber, a little unnerved by the bandaged guests.
I think I've given those mummies the slip,
he said, as he stopped to catch his breath.
Of course, it takes one of my dexterity to carry out such an audacious escape attempt. Just a minute. I'm sinking.
The floor was giving way. It was a trap. Without hesitation, Hubert leapt off the tile and onto solid ground, leaving the mummies trapped at the other side of the chasm.
Ha!
Hubert jeered.
Just look at that! Hoisted by your own petard! Ah!
Hubert landed in a small, dimly lit chamber with a large sarcophagus in its centre. Not wasting a second, the squadron leader dashed over to examine it.
Tutancardmun,
he cried.
I found him! Jolly good.
But the mummy had also found him. It moaned.
Ah, no! Keep back, you vagabond!
Hubert yelled. And surprisingly, the mummy did as he asked.
That's odd,
said Hubert. Intrigued, he pulled the bandage away from the mummy's mouth.
Why did you not attack me?
Attack you?
The mummy answered.
We've been trying to warn you. Your plane caught fire when it landed. It's setting fire to the whole tomb.
Oh, yes,
said Hubert, noting the rising flames.
In that case, I suggest a tactical withdrawal. Come along!
And without looking back, Squadron Leader Hubert Toffington, DFC, led the mummies straight out of the burning tomb.
Keep calm,
he called out.
Let us go forward together.
And before long, they all emerged into the warm Egyptian sun.
It's not over yet,
Hubert warned them.
We still have to cross the river of certain dampness. But fear not.
The mummies watched with interest as Hubert leapt through the air and landed straight in the river below. The mummies, somewhat bemused, headed for the nearby bridge instead. Hubert bobbed up and down in the water.
I have at least discovered one thing on this expedition,
He said thoughtfully.
This river is certainly damp.